It's time for an INFJ Winter Arc. I'm ready for it and I hope you are too. Because the Winter Arc that everybody's talking about is about really tapping into your goals. And this is not the time to hide. This is not the time to kind of like snuggle up and like get really comfortable under a blanket, although that may be fine. But if you as an INFJ are getting to a place where you know, okay, the weather is really getting to me, I feel depressed, I don't feel excited, it seems like there's no way out, then really join me because I'm really excited about this winter arc. And today I want to talk to you how to tap into your INFJ winter arc that is all about taking action. Because if you're able to start and improve on your habits that are creating the INFJ epic life on your terms in this circumstance, you will be set for life. You will want to keep going. And so that's why I recommend to really use this time and get excited, because now you can take action and really create not only the emotions you want, but the life you always craved. Before we get started, I want to remind you that you can still get the bundle on the audio guide and the ebook. I'm only going to offer this bundle in October. So for the ones of you who wanted to get one of those products, now is the best time to do this, because after that, it's going to be offline. So check out the bundle. You can get this until the end of October through the link in the description. So let's define winter arc. So typically this expression comes from the sports world. Like a lot of guys mainly really use that time to say, okay, I'm going to go offline. My friends are not going to see me. My family isn't going to see me, and I'm going to buckle down. I will start working out, or I'll work on my business, whatever it may be. And for us INFJs, it's not so much about detaching from others, because this is our go-to mode, right? We so often don't interact enough with people or feel like we have to actually put effort into maintaining relationships. But when it comes to winter arc, we can take the essence of it, which is I'm going to focus on what matters to me most. And this is where we as INFJs can make the biggest difference in our lives. When I started my journey, when I wrote the ebook, when I started this channel, I was in a really low place. And it was exactly in that space that those habits were built and maintained. Because if you're able to maintain your habits when you're not feeling good, when your environment isn't really helping you out, when you don't have great weather that's motivating you, that's when you know that you're the one who's building that excitement. You're the one who creates that internal flow that you just want to grow with. So that is the momentum that's going to make all the difference for us INFJs. So let's really look at winter arc. And I love winters, by the way. This is my favorite time. This is where I really get all my stuff in order, because I know that the excitement I'm going to feel is going to be by the things that I create. The INFJ baseline, permanent inner winter. So as INFJs, if we're not healthy, what happens? We, attach ourselves to other people. We can get into codependent relationships. We can feel depressed about how our life is going or what is happening in our life or isn't. And we so often feel like we don't have any power over it. That's a state that a lot of INFJs know, that a lot of INFJs experience, and it has a lot to do with the fact that our baseline is actually rather calm. So if we really take a step back, we're not going to have all of those internal turmoils all the time. We're probably rather going to be detached. We're rather not going to engage enough. So it feels like there's nothing. For a lot of other people, there's so much stress they feel internally. There's so many situations that get them angry or upset or just, unclear. But for us, it is the opposite. We have the problem that if we don't do anything, our life will most likely either feel boring or we will feel stressed by the people around us who are constantly nagging us or putting negative emotion on us. Sometimes it feels like if we numb ourselves the most, that's going to be the easiest, because then nobody can hurt us, nothing really excites us, and it sometimes feels like that's a safe bet to play, particularly when you're in a situation where there's nothing I could do. No matter how much work I would put into this job, I still wouldn't get ahead faster. Even if I would invest spending more time with my family or friends, the relationships are not going to change. So it is important for us to understand that this is our baseline. What we need is not more downtime. Yes, it's good to kind of like step back from the people that are not making us feel good, but what is even better is for us to create such a life, such a momentum that the people who normally, abuse you or use your power or your energy or whatever it may be, that they take a step back by themselves. See, that is the difference. We so often kind of say, oh, I'm just going to make myself small. I'm going to retreat. I'm just going to go into my winter so I will not bother anybody, so people will leave me alone. Doesn't really work, now does it? So let's really change that and understand this is our baseline, and just because it's winter outside doesn't mean we're going to stick to our internal winter. It's time to start that spark from the inside out. So what is the goal of the INFJ Winter Arc? It's to go into integration. So we're not looking for stillness. We already have enough of that. We're also not looking for depth. We probably go too deep, too much. That can lead to being depressed, being detached from reality, and so on. What we want is integration. What we want is that there's a bridge between how we feel inside and how our reality is mirroring that back. And guess what? It all starts with action. We need to start taking aligned action in order to create that alignment. And we want to do it in a way where it feels it's part of our identity. So we're not going to take some big jumps. There are people who say, oh, I'm going to start working out 3-4 times a week. Yeah, could you do this theoretically for the rest of your life? Probably not. We talk about this in bootcamp all the time. Our next live call will be on INFJ physical energy management. This is the basis of it all. No, we want to not only create new energy within us, we want to make it so it's self-sustainable. And it all starts with an identity shift. So we have to start creating habits that we could theoretically stick to until the end of our days and know that, yeah, this is going to be manageable for me. So yeah, working out 4 times a week when you haven't worked out in a year is probably not something you're going to stick with. It would be much better to say, let me start with a habit that is small, but that is the entry point of the new identity I want to create. So how do we lean into this season? So I know it sounds counterintuitive, but we have to start with our body first. We talk about this in Pillar 1, INFJ Physical Energy Management in Bootcamp a lot, because I, for example, never liked working out. I never really cared about my energy level until I understood that no matter what kind of momentum I want to create in my life, I need that energy for that. Every single time you try to step out of the matrix or you step out of the rat race, you step out of some kind of system that you don't want to be in, it will require additional energy. And so we have to create a lifestyle that increases our overall energy. And that means we're going to put energy into things that are going to create more energy for ourselves. So for example, sleeping, working out, eating well. And we're also going to put energy towards removing things that drain energy out of our lives. So yes, that might be removing yourself from situations where people are pulling on your energy, removing yourself from situations where just maintaining that situation requires so much of you. Yes, when you're going to have that uncomfortable conversation, it's going to require more energy out of you, but you will do it once and then you are free of that. When you go for a new job, because at your old job, it's a toxic work environment, applying for new jobs is going to require more energy. But once you've gotten that job, you will have a daily life that requires less energy of you. So we have to understand our energy level comes first, because once you're able to create a surplus energy level, you can then direct this energy towards more growth, towards more alignment, towards more, self-expression, whatever it may be. And that's when life gets really interesting and exciting. So just a quick recap, focus on your energy levels first, and then start setting goals and start taking actions on things that are going to make the biggest difference in your life. So if that means cutting off a toxic family member, if that means going for a new job and sending out an application every single week, then those are the things to do, the hard things. And just to know, I have to prioritize this, because although it sucks right now, what I'm looking for is to create a life that is generating more energy than it is taking out of me. The shadow side to avoid. So when you think of winter, it is so common to actually say, okay, I'm going to isolate more. I'm going to watch movies. I'm going to play video games. I'm going to just bypass this time. but this is not what's going to make us feel good. And you can just ask yourself, how is it for you? How have the last winters have been? If you're somebody who enjoys this time and this is your time to relax, and every single time in the spring you feel like a new person because you are able to relax and enjoy that time with your hot chocolate, great, good for you. If you're not like this, if you actually get depressed in the wintertime, if you feel like life is meaningless and it's not fun and there's actually nothing that's beautiful out there because, your dopamine level is really low and, there's no sunlight and all of that, let's change that. So understand the shadow side. It is very easy to fall into the trap of, okay, it is allowed for me to not be social. It is allowed for me to sit on my couch all day. It is allowed and nobody cares that, I'm just taking a step back. Just because nobody's watching doesn't mean that this is the right thing for you. So that's the same thing with stepping out of the rat race or, stepping out of the matrix. If you are, for example, working at a 9 to 5, but you want to write your book, nobody's going to ask you, have you written a chapter yet? Nobody cares. Nobody's invested in that. Of course, people are going to question if you don't show up at work on Monday morning. So that's an external motivation. But the things that are really going to help us to build that identity of who we want to be, that is something that we have to create internally. And so this is not the time to say, let me take a step back. Because yes, you can wait for spring, but think of it like this. Maybe in the spring you will have more external obligations. Maybe more people will want something from you. And it is that much harder to then say, I'm not going to do that. I'm rather going to focus on what I want to do. So use the fact that now everybody's taking a step back. Use that time for you to say, okay, since there aren't any external stimuli, there aren't any big obligations, people don't really want that much from me, it makes it easier on me. So I can actually focus on what I want to do. So remember, don't fall into this trap because it's really, really easy. And remind yourself, this is my time. Imagine that you could go through this winter and feel better than you've ever felt on a summer day in the last 10 years. Yeah, it's possible. So let's make that happen. As INFJs, we have to learn it's action and then mindset second. Because we're already thinking through so many things, we probably already have a vision, but it's those action steps that are going to cement it into reality. And if you start now, when spring comes along, you've already have such a habit, you have created this amazing internal focus and this momentum that you just don't want to let go of because doing it feels good every single time. You know that you want to be a person who's consistently taking steps towards the life they always wanted. You want to keep those promises to yourself. Remember, if you want to take the next step into that process, if you want to start creating that INFJ epic life on your terms, starting from where you're at, then the bundle is going to help you immensely. It is really based on you starting where you're at in your life, grieving what hasn't happened yet, and then building your life up from there. Everything you need to know in order to get the bundle, remember, only in October. You can find through links in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then check out the video you see on the screen right now. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.